Ooh, that was a loud clap.
Hello, everyone.
Sorry, we didn't know you were there. Let's hope
Yeah,
you didn't. Let's hope you didn't hear anything.
come in. Welcome to the Holly Wrestling Podcast, home of Holly Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Kieran Brennan. With me, as always, my co-host.
The man that genetics forgot, Rian.
Yeah, I know the nicknames. Remember, didn't you? You dropped that other nickname gimmick.
Better than Ryan Satin. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. But anyway, how are you? How are you, Kieran? Before we get into admin, how are you?
Bad. I'm battering. Because you know what I could be doing now instead of a shitty wrestling podcast? I could be watching Bill and Ted 3, Bill and Ted Face the Music. But no. Level 3 lockdown here. It's not a lockdown. It's more just like cinemas and pubs are closed. And it's just,
which is stupid because they've been the best run establishments. If the government just took out a gun and shot everyone that was running in town with the anti-mask march, we wouldn't have a problem. But obviously we can't. Obviously we can't do that. Sadly, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, we had a lot of cases today in Ireland. If you haven't realised, I'm starting college orientation tomorrow, so that's like just great timing. And yeah, I was meant to go to a 5-star golf resort for a night on Tuesday, and that's not happening. So pretty depressing start to the pretty depressing start to the podcast. But let's try and get the mood up in it. What?
I have something to cheer you up. A little piece of news. You specifically.
You're pregnant?
How did you know?
With my child?
Oh no.
What is it?
Kyle O'Reilly's been added to the NXT Gauntlet Eliminator.
I was just about to say that. I just saw it just before I came on. Yes, fucking please. If they're in limbo with who they're going to pick, he has to be in that.
Yeah.
He's in it. He has to win it. Sorry. I'm just a bit... he has...
Finn Balor put out a tweet basically saying that facing Kyle O'Reilly Kyle O'Reilly getting a chance for the NXT Championship, it's not like an if, it's a when type situation, which I think most people would.
Yeah, we'll get on to NXT later, but he wasn't out there with the Undisputed Era the other last night. He's turning fully face, and oh my god, I cannot wait to see that match. Just hook it to my veins, in my veins. Just
I'd like to see him win
the title. Oh, sorry,
the Eliminator.
Yeah, the Eliminator. Yeah, but yeah, he's like, yeah, him putting a good showing up against Balor would slip him directly into the North American title picture, so I wouldn't complain about. Yeah, that's a great start. That's a great pick me up. Yeah. We've just a bit of admin. There's been a birthday in the wrestling world, and more specifically, I don't know what his title is to us. Is he our boss? He's not really our boss. He's just our associate and a good friend of the podcast. Dits. It was Dits' birthday on Monday, so happy birthday, Dits. Yeah, happy birthday. He's gonna be on Takeover Throwbacks any day now when we can record that, which is gonna be really fun. Kieran, who won?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. You said like 3 things, you didn't respond to them, and I was like, damn, am I just not being funny?
I did, didn't I? No. Well, this is a great start to the
box. And then you just continued talking. I was gonna do
yeah. I thought you said woo Dits.
Oh no.
No, but yeah, well, happy birthday to Dits, and there's been a few more birthdays. Terry Thatcher. Happy birthday to Terry. Happy birthday to a friend of the podcast and guest on the podcast, Terry Thatcher. Have a great day with Linda and your 2 daughters. Are you laughing?
Yeah.
Why?
Have a great day with Linda. Fuck off. Just call you saying. Have a great day. Have the name drop his wife, right?
She was on our podcast. She literally bought like.
It just sounded awkward. She
audio bombed our podcast. She's part of the Holly Wrestling podcast family.
She's in our cinematic universe.
Yeah, she audio bombs a lot of podcasts. It's really fun. More entertaining than Terry, confirmed. Happy birthday, Terry. And Justy's birthday. He celebrated in style with a few great tweets, which he probably can repeat on air if we want to stay on air. But yeah, he's a character, I think is the word to say. He's hilarious. But yeah, happy birthday. You're probably one of the funniest wrestling acts I've ever seen. I think Kieran would probably agree. Anybody who's seen him live is just hilarious.
If you haven't seen any of his matches, seek them out. They'll be all over OTT on demand, I'm sure.
Yeah, they are. Just Jiu-Jitsu, which he probably wants you to forget about. His match when he teamed with MJF, the promo beforehand. Oh, I wish the famine killed you all off. Just his face was hilarious. Brilliant. Justy Libre. Jesus, yeah, that was an experience. I remember they did the pre-match promo on MJF being MJF, which was like, if you try any of that Justy Jitsu shit, I will stab you. I was just like fucking hilarious. It was just brilliant. They meshed so well together, and it's one of my favorite memories from OTT. But who else? Oh yeah, the cameraman John Morrissey, Whiplash on Twitter. His birthday is today. So loads of birthdays. So yeah, happy birthday to everybody. Just wanted to get that out of the way because good people are celebrating their birthdays today. But Kieran, how has your week been in terms of wrestling? Have you watched any wrestling? Have you
wrestling? Not really. No, it's another like last week. It feels like another dead spot, even more so than last week.
No, it's not more than last week because we have a match of the year contender to talk about. Maybe two, to be honest.
Is this New Japan?
One of them is New Japan, and one of them is AEW. But we'll get on to them in a while. We'll get on to some news. Let's get on with the news. Let's get on with what?
Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that Melina was on her way back to WWE, doing like contract signings or whatever, and then Melina was just like, "No, I guess not." I don't know. I think when that kind of came out, people were a lot more open to it than maybe some of people wrestling. I expected anyway. People were a lot more open to her returning.
She's good. She's really good. She's she was one of them that stood out in the Divas era, which isn't really as a wrestler, which isn't really saying much for what it was. Like as in like as a wrestler, if you could do a few good moves in the Divas era, you stood out because there wasn't many moves being done. It was a lot of gimmick. It was a lot of gimmicks. So she was always really good. I never really watched a lot of her stuff, but I watched enough to know that like she kind of was a bit better than a lot of, like she was probably in the top 2 or 3.
She's popped up in a few Royal Rumbles, right?
I don't think so. I think she was mainly Impact. She did a lot of Impact stuff. Let me get the article up here just to see if she's she can do the splits. It's a great achievement. I can do that too.
It has gone well.
Yeah. She in a Facebook post. Jesus, she went old school. She really is old school. Yeah. So she was in. Let me have a look. She was a Hall of Famer. I'm pretty sure she was in the Hall of Fame. I'm pretty confident saying she was a Hall of Fame inductee. Or am I wrong there? Or did she induct somebody? Maybe. That just rings a bell to me. But yeah, if she comes back, I'd love to see what she can do. They need a bit of a boost in the women's division. Sasha Banks came back way too early. I saw like quite an amusing Twitter post where someone put up like a tweet being like, Sasha Banks has battled back from all the odds and she's like the best. She's like persevered through all the injuries, and like yeah, it's kayfabe. But someone retweeted and was like, Roman Reigns came back from leukemia. It's just like fair. But yeah.
Are you ready?
Am I ready for what?
Are you ready for Jon Moxley's debut in Bloodsport?
Oh yeah, I cannot wait for that.
We don't know who he's fighting yet, though. I believe anyway.
Josh Barnett. I'm assuming he was
presumably. Him
and Josh Barnett were meant to be fighting each other. Again, I would love to see him versus Minoru Suzuki because Minoru Suzuki had one of my favorite matches this week, which was just amazing. We'll get on to G1 in a minute because I watched night 1. I'm watching night 2 in about an hour with some friends, but night 1 I will talk about because I did see it. Talking Shop, Good Brothers are releasing an animated series. It's good for you, Kieran. And Whiskey.
I mean, good for me.
You like
what does that mean?
You'd like a good animated series about wrestling, no?
Sure, yeah.
And then good for me. And good for me. They're releasing some Whiskey. Which, if it's anything to go by, our greatest exports whiskey, probably not gonna be great.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's been in the news again this week, Kieran.
Who's been?
Mr. McGregor. We will not discuss that because it's not even worth discussing. There's a lot of
Fuck
he
it.
said. There's a lot. Yeah,
He's a
fuck him.
prick.
There is a lot of he said, she said going on about that situation. But fuck him in general. Like even if he is innocent by some fucking miracle, he's a dick.
For every one of those incidents, every one of like there must be a dozen like sexual assault, sexual harassment cases, and if he's innocent, every single one of those, he's still a fucking gigantic disgrace to this fucking country because of how
Wait,
much of a prick he is just in general to everyone.
yeah,
Oh,
he went to my primary school, which is sad. Um,
yeah.
yeah, but speaking of idiots, TJP proved once again why he's a colossal bell end. After earlier, yeah, he's a colossal bell end, Kieran. Earlier this year, well, he's an anti-COVID, which is start for starters.
Well, I'm
Um,
also
wow. Earlier this year,
like
he replied to a tweet saying he's never learned anything from the people he's been in the ring with. He's had matches with Okada and Liger, to name but a few.
yeah, but
So that's what.
they've never made it to the big time. They're amateurs.
And then he decided to come out this week and compare himself to Eddie Guerrero.
He's better than Eddie Guerrero. We know that. He's the first cruiserweight champion, man. Ugh.
He's
I
such
like,
a
yeah, yeah.
such a
Okay. Oh, that's a
he's
stupid thing.
he's such a bellend.
He's
He's
just trying.
on.
That's a fairly heat thing to say, right?
No, like you can tell the difference between like trying to get like saying like I'm better than Eddie Guerrero. No, but like he literally just like you can tell when someone's trying to hype it up,
Yeah.
but he's like being serious. It's not like it's
Fuck.
it's
Okay.
it's sad. Rob Van Dam says speaking with Pro Wrestling Junkie, Wrestling Junkies. Just read that. Fucking of course Rob Van Dam did an interview with Pro Wrestling Junkies.
Way.
Of course he did. They asked him what the one thing he hasn't done in his career yet, a retirement match. Just casually. The casual arrogance is brilliant. Yeah, there's some like short news. Dana White said Brock Lesnar not coming back to the UFC. He doesn't see it coming. Miro's AEW contract. Terrible debut, but it's a long-term contract with AEW with an option to extend the deal. What would you like to see Rusev / Miro doing in AEW other than being a best man, hosting a bachelor party, and lifting weights?
He's a comedy guy, right? Do some comedy stuff. If it's what he's best at, he's never going to be, I think, a main eventer. But if you give him a mid card title, or at the very least have him be an upper mid carder where he is consistently getting time to do promos or whatever, then I think that's how you're going to get the best out of him. I think WWE failed him in the way that they just didn't give him enough time to go out there, or they didn't capitalize on his gimmicks or whatever. And they did get over, and they nearly always got over.
Yeah, didn't Vince once say that like they're chanting Rusev Day because they're mocking him? That was the famous line.
It's a weird thing. Like, I don't know. And that his shirts were like selling amazingly, and he brushed it off as nothing. Like, I don't know, really weird.
Yeah, they look like they're going to be entering the tag team division after they have the bachelor party. The bachelor party, it's a wedding / bachelor party on AEW on a wrestling show. It's going to end in shenanigans. I don't know why this pitch coming into my head, but maybe they have a bachelor party and private party because their gimmick is that they like alcohol and stuff. They crash the party and then they go into a feud with them because they're not going near the belts anytime soon.
Okay.
So maybe they interrupt the bachelor party and they get angry because they ruined the bachelor party, and then Penelope Ford goes headfirst into a cake. Blah blah blah. Wrestling. So yeah, that happened. Rusev has a long-term contract. Fair play to him. Miro. Next on the tank.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll do well.
Never forget. Yeah. Undertaker has revealed that Vince hated the ending to Last Ride. Of course he did.
In what way?
He called himself Mark Calloway in the end. Like, of course Vince did. In the weeks after defeating AJ Styles in the Boneyard match, Undertaker was. That's just saying he's. Speaking on My Mom's Basement podcast. Oh, the podcast names are absolutely brilliant today. My Mom's. Undertaker on My Mom's Basement. Jesus. Undertaker said that he verbalized that feeling for the documentary as a way of putting his foot down to nullify any temptation on he or the company's part to explore a return to the ring. Smart. However, his boss wasn't too thrilled with that statement. Speaking, he said, I have a whole group of people who are like, you can go out and do this. People will go crazy. On the inside, I'm thinking, I don't move the way I used to move. It's a watered down version. Undertaker also said, I also love this business so much and love performing. It's almost like I needed someone to put the bullet in there. Once we started rolling with this, it was in the back of my mind. I can get to a point where this will solidify and I won't have the choice. Originally, that's where I was at until I had to send the last 15 minutes to Vince. He didn't like the ending at all. That's where we put the line back in there. Never say never. Fuck's sake. I'm coming to grips with it. Obviously, as we get closer to WrestleMania, I'll have that internal feeling that I should be getting ready for something. He's coming back. Oh,
I don't know. This is the one who made him say never say never. I don't know. I guess it depends how business is doing, because I do think that if Vince came up to him and was like, we need you, we genuinely need the Undertaker back, he'll do it. But from the sounds of it, he just doesn't want to, is the thing. You know?
Yeah. I don't want to see it, really. That was a great ending. You can't ride out on a motorcycle and, like, on a win after a boneyard match and not just retire. It's just, I mean, never mind, it's fucking wrestling. Why am I trying to put logic to it? But yeah, I think that's all with the news today. I'll keep it short and sweet. Kieran, what wrestling show do you want to start with this week?
Give me the lowdown on Raw, Rian. You know what? Go on. No, actually, AEW. I have no idea what happened in AEW.
AEW. There was a match of the year contender, and I will tell you about it. AEW Dynamite, emanating live from Daly's place. We had Jurassic Express against FTR, which was a great little match. I like FTR. They're really good. They can work with anybody. They won by cheating on Jungle Boy, which keeps them strong and just sets up FTR as smarmy little heels who are also really good and really tactical with Tully at ringside. Luchasaurus is a great hot tag. He moves great for a dinosaur who's like 1,000 years old. Yeah, fucking.
What's Undertaker's shame?
Yeah. We next was an interesting one. We had Kenny Omega versus not Kenny Omega, sorry, Frankie Kazarian versus Adam Page, Hangman Page, with Kenny Omega on commentary, being really salty. He was conflicted about Page, judging the way he was talking about him. They had a really good match. I loved Frankie Kazarian, and Hangman Page is going to be the top. He is red hot as a babyface right now. He tried to get in with FTR, and that in turn lost the Young Bucks, and then found out FTR were playing him, and he's left all alone. The Cowboy is on his own. He's riding solo now. Kazarian got some offense and a lot more than I actually thought he would, to be honest. There was just Page hit a fallaway slam and a shooting star press for a near fall, but then the Buckshot Lariat won. But Kenny on commentary was just great. It was like just criticizing Hangman's kind of like his techniques and being like he was on edge. He wasn't quite full like Hangman's a cunt, but he was on edge. MJF versus Jobber number 7840 is what it says here. It's probably just Bleacher Report trying to tell a joke. MJF won with a salt of the earth, and MJF grabbed the mic and started giving a very ironic promo where he was calling out Jon Moxley for cheating, even though he tried to cheat with the diamond ring. He forced Justin Roberts to announce him by one of the real AEW World Champion, and then teased joining one of AEW stables. Kieran, what do you think about MJF? Do you like him? And if you do know the stables in AEW or have a vague idea of what they are, who would you like to see him in a stable with?
I genuinely don't really know the stables in AEW, but MJF,
but who would you like to see him with?
Just with in general.
Even he doesn't really need a stable, but he's teasing. He's obviously not going to join. But smarmy heels, like Him and FTR could be good. I don't
Is
mind
the
that.
inner circle still a thing?
What?
Is the inner circle still a thing?
Yeah, I think Santana and Ortiz are going to join Eddie Kingston. Well, no, Eddie Kingston has his faction now, but I think that he's going to join soon enough. They're going to join up like in a year's time. Sammy Guevara is definitely turning face.
Maybe
Uh,
if you boot fucking Jericho from the inner circle or something, have that be a big storyline, and
yeah,
then have him as the new leader. I think that maybe that could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think they could. I don't think it'd suit MJF to play second fiddle. Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think.
Well, I think get rid of Jericho and have him be number one.
Yeah, Jericho needs to get rid of the weight. I'm gonna go on about it until it actually happens because it's really annoying me. I just can't get invested in his matches.
He's okay.
He's next. Speak of the devil. Sure, he's still arguing that his concert didn't cause COVID cases, even though there's proof that it caused a couple of hundred. Private Party versus Jericho and Hager. It was an okay match. Matt Hardy was found backstage after being attacked. Injured knee, Jericho and Hager mocked him. This was an okay match. Private Party are a bit. They're not great. They're young, which is
the green light. They'll get better.
Yeah, they will. Judas Effect won the match, and they kept attacking Cassidy and locked him in the walls of Jericho, and then Mark Quinn made it save, but the damage had been done. Thunder Rosa versus Ivelisse. Now this was interesting, okay, Kieran. Thunder Rosa was amazing, and she was fighting against Ivelisse, and they had an amazing match. But the reason they had an amazing match is because they hate the guts of each other and started shooting on each other. They
or just work shooting.
No. If you look up Ivelisse on, I'm gonna look her up now. Ivelisse backstage heat. She has heat with a lot of people in a lot of companies, and Thunder Rosa didn't like her in this, and they started punching the heads off each other, which was interesting. Let me look this up and see if I can get any stories. Apparently, she's heat with Tessa Blanchard, and other stuff like that. Yeah. All right, here we go. Events with real heat with Tessa Blanchard. Ivelisse has insanely bad heat. She pissed off the WCPW locker room. She's got insane heat with Mia Yim. She got fired from WWE because of her attitude. She had trouble in Lucha Underground. She okay. Someone made like a joke during one of her entrances in WCPW, and she got very pissy about it. She has no sense of humor. Very funny.
Point proven.
Yeah. Hey, I do. I'm bringing out a one-man comedy show soon. She cheated on me. Me and boyfriend cheated on her with Ivelisse. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, we'll not go any further, but she just seems like not a nice person. Be nice, people, and treat others as you'd want to be treated, or else you won't get anywhere in life. Well, she's an AEW, but there we go. Yeah, okay. Actually, if you want to get anywhere in life, just be a dick.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Lance Archer and Jon Moxley was a really cool segment. Sorry for dragging on. I love the way you're trying it. I love the way you're like, oh, what happened? Do you care, Kieran?
I care a little bit. I just. I'm in AEW.
It actually is.
I've heard about Jon Moxley and Lance Archer for a long time.
It actually really is fun. It is a really great segment. Archer and Jake Roberts came out to talk, and then they were soon joined by Taz, and they kind of made a promise to give like Cage the first shot after he beats Mox at the anniversary show in 2 weeks. 1 year anniversary, mad. Moxley came out and was grabbed by a fan who turned to be Ricky Starks, my favorite wrestler right now. Absolute Ricky Starks, what a man.
Then Cage ambushed Moxley until Will Hobbs, a guy who was on Dark Raids, an indie wrestler, who finally is getting the push. He was in the Battle Royal, came out with a chair and started swinging for the fences. They're up in the veranda here. They're like he's beating the crap out of Will Hobbs. Comes and takes a chair to Starks and Brian Cage, and they retreat. And Mox grabbed the mic, and imagine being Will Hobbs and John Moxley gives you an introduction like he did. He was like, this guy is like the maniac from wherever the city he was from. I forgot to say he's like the maniac from whatever the town he was, and then like just fucking put him over huge. He was like he's a beast, and this is my partner for the 6-man tag next week, Will Hobbs. And then he was like, well, we need a 6th person. And he was like, Darby Allin, get your injured ass up off the couch and join us next week because we're having a 6-man tag and we're going to war. And it was a great promo. It was brilliant. I loved it. People who don't like Moxley, I think they're a bit blind. They're a bit blind to the fact of how good and he's a lot more in depth as a character than you think he is.
Yeah.
People, I don't understand. That is a gripe that's kind of got me the last few weeks. So I see a lot of it where it's like Moxley isn't a good champion. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do you expect him to do? Like, do you want him to come out on a unicycle again, like Vince had him doing? Oh, look, he can ride a bike backwards. He's so wacky. No, he's just gonna beat the shit out of you and take his belt and finish. He's gonna make friends because when he needs to, when he's facing off against 3 people. But when the belt's on the line, he's gonna beat the shit out of you and then walk out and have a beer. That's literally what he's gonna do. People are like, oh, he's Stone Cold Light. He's not quite Stone Cold Light. Even though what I described there was very Stone Cold like, he does it in a different way. It is though. When you read out what John Moxley is, it does sound very like Stone Cold. But when you look at it, it's just not that. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just not the charisma and the way he cuts his promos is brilliant, and I don't really get how it's. What do you think of John Moxley? You've seen enough AEW to kind of get your opinion on John Moxley. What do you think about him versus what?
I think he's doing a good job, but I do think that his title reign would be a lot more well received if there was a crowd there. It's one of those things where he's doing the best that he can, but without it, he's someone who thrives in front of an audience. He's someone who can really get the audience on their feet. And I think if you don't like a wrestler or whatever, whether you like him or not, when the audience are on their feet losing their minds, like they did basically any time Moxley was on screen, when he wins a title or whatever, or when he jumps in through the crowd, you're gonna enjoy the moment. And I think, I don't know, his title reign is just another victim of no crowd.
It's not like he had the belt for a long time before the crowds lost. I understand your point, but I think
that was the better part of his reign. I think the more exciting part.
Yeah, it was really good, and I still like it. But we'll talk a bit more about Moxley next week. But hopefully it's a great 6-man tag. That Lance Archer, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage versus Will Hobbs, who's amazing. You should see him. He's got one of the best spine busters I've ever seen. John Moxley and Darby Allin. Yeah, that's got 3. Imagine when Will Hobbs is literally like these Brian Cage levels of muscly. When him and Brian Cage get in the ring, Jesus fucking Christ. The crowd is whatever crowd is there is gonna go insane. The crowds are there, like they're at 50% capacity.
50%.
Yeah. But it's a good atmosphere. Now we come on to one of the match of the year contenders, and I hate to reference this, man, but Kieran, this street fight between the Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz was given 5 stars.
Really? Just on a random episode of Dynamite?
Watch it. Okay. Listen to this. I'm going to read out the match report and just listen to just some of these spots. I don't know if I can do it justice, but Santana and Ortiz showed up with some skull-like face paint for the parking lot brawl. All 4 men immediately started brawling as loaded wrestlers were turning them on. Trent put Ortiz under the hood of a car and slammed it on top of him several times until they both hit sentons onto the hood. They set up a piece of plywood across the bed of a truck, but Ortiz found his bat and used it to take out both men. He had a slingshot that sent Trent's face into a tailgate. Neither team had the upper hand, which they more violent. Blood was all over the floor. Bodies were broken and property was damaged before Santana went to cannonball Chuck E. T onto the car. And like the Undertaker, Orange Cassidy rose from the boot of the car and hit a Superman punch to Santana with a chain wrapped around his fist. Chuck Taylor hit Santana with a pile driver on the car, and Trent put Ortiz through a piece of plywood with a serious dead-eye like tombstone into the back of a truck. And then Sue, their mom, arrived with a repaired van to give the winners a ride home. She flipped off proud and powerful as the car drove away, and that's how AEW went off the air.
Saw that. I saw the image of her flipping, like doing the finger or whatever from the car, but I wasn't aware of the context behind it. I'll try and find that then. I'll try and watch that. I think I might have it recorded on my fucking Sky or whatever.
Wow, like I loved Best Friends, and Orange Cassidy rising from the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that match. It was so good. It was amazing. It was like up there with like Angle and Shane street fight. Not
Really?
quite, but Angle and Shane was an amazing street fight.
Angle and Shane was like another fucking level. The fucking suplexes onto the glass, or like
the glass, and then they broke it. The Angle broke his tailbone. Stuff like that. Yeah, shit. But that's Dits' favorite match. I know that. So go check that out as well. That's probably been my recommendation for this week. Shane versus, they had wrestled like 2 matches earlier that night. They sent Shane through the glass. It was not the sugar glass. It was real glass. And Shane said, "Send me through again," after landing straight on his head. But yeah, what show do you want to listen to next, Kieran? Do you want to talk about NXT?
Well, I know a bit about Raw. We could do some of that.
Yeah, I like Raw. We had Raw in your face, Kieran. It was in your face. In your face.
Your face. It opened with, what do you think of the opening segment with like Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton?
I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. You know this.
Well aware.
I think he's really good. Adam Pearce is getting more screen time than he ever got in his career. It's hilarious. The Viper not healthy enough. And then Lee defeated McIntyre. If he defeated him, there would be a triple threat. That was interesting. Ambulance match. They've always been decent matches. I think
last ambulance match was that like a Strowman Reigns one?
I'm feeling. I don't know if I'm wrong. It was Strowman Reigns, but the more famous one was the 3 Stages of Hell match, where one of them was an ambulance match between Cena and Kane, wasn't it?
Cena and Ryback.
No, Cena. Oh yeah, that was one of them. But remember, they had the 3 Stages of Hell match, where they had a tables match followed by a last man standing match.
I'm not sure about Cena and Kane.
It was Cena and Kane. Do you remember the? Do you remember
thing? Did he?
Do you remember the Embrace the Hate storyline? Zack Ryder.
I wasn't watching back then.
Oh yeah, no, but that's a great storyline where Stina kissed Steve Torres, and basically they pushed Zack Ryder off the stage in a wheelchair, and that literally was the symbolic end of Zack Ryder's push. Yeah. Cena buries someone again, like. But yeah, I'm interested. I mean, I can't look past the Claymore into the ambulance. I really like it's set up for that. Like the Claymore hasn't been using this feud much. That's what the
top of the ambulance, maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be like the RK on top of the truck at Mania. Like it's, but Claymore into the ambulance is something we've never seen before.
Yeah,
straight onto a stretcher, and then Undertaker in the front row or in the front seat. Where to Stephanie? Even though it's not Stephanie, just say Stephanie. Okay. Street Profits and
Vega's a lot. Stephanie, you could have her there.
Yeah, no, well, she's got her own. She's just not gonna just be there. She's gonna be the number 1 contender for the Raw Women's Championship. And fair play to her. She's finally getting a push in the ring. But I want to talk about the tag title scene. I'm very happy that we look like we're going to get the unified belts. Are you?
Oh, 100%. They should have been unified a long time ago at this stage. It's insane. Both tag divisions have suffered so much because of it. Like,
and fuck the weird colors as well, please.
I got used to the. I think the blue ones look nicer than the red ones.
The bronze ones are still to go. The bronze ones will still always be amazing.
Go or what? What are they going to look like? I wonder if they unify them.
Imagine. God, we haven't a good track record with belts these past few years. If they're half blue and half red, I give up.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I don't think purple because that's. Oh, the cruiserweight one has a new design, doesn't it?
They could obviously Vince has been watching Barney. If you mix blue and red, it makes purple. We're gonna make him purple. But yeah, I don't know. I like the bronze. I like the bronze. Let's just hope let's hope they don't make this. Yeah, the same mistake with the US belt. Just don't put any like Nazi eagles in there.
Oh jeez, oh fuck, okay.
Yeah.
But fuck it, just have a brand new design because the current one it's not even nice. It's like, I don't give a shit about the colors. It's not a particularly nice design. It's just a weird Roman like soldier or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's strange. But yeah, Street Profits and Cesaro. Street Profits beat Cesaro and Nakamura by pinfall. I think that's 1-1. I think. I haven't really been following. I just know that I'm happy that they're getting unified. I haven't really been following their matches much.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander's doing well with the Hurt Business. I liked it. He's okay. Flipping hell, it just clicked with me. This match had the best sell of the year. Did you see it? Ricochet selling that lumbar check.
Oh fuck yes! Oh my god!
Fucking hell! That was one of the best sells I've ever. I'd be confident saying one of the best sells I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like he flopped like a fish. That man was out cold. Ricochet is like Kyle O'Reilly levels of selling. That was insane. Like, in other Ricochet related news this week, it's really sad to see them being like beaten down into the point where Ricochet put out a tweet like being like, "I'm the problem. I need to work harder." It's like, Jesus Christ, mate, you're not the problem. Like, you're just not getting pushed. You're working hard enough.
Someone replied to that in like a thing, and being like, "Hey, you're not the problem." And he was like, "I'm not. I'm talking about the industry, not a company." So it seemed like more of a misunderstood tweet than like Stockholm syndrome, you know.
Yeah, sorry, I just took a drink. It's just sad to see him so beaten down. Mustafa Ali is literally main event for like fucking 4 weeks in a row. Lights went out at the end. Lumbar check was amazing. Retribution. Clearly now we have Retribution are Dominic Dijakovic, Mercedes Martinez, Dio Madden. You remember that commentator, Dio Madden?
Yeah.
He's a member. Mia Yim is a member. So yeah, it was Yeah, so they said they would destroy the foundations of the company. They're anarchists, exclusive to Raw. Anarchists, they're exclusive to Raw. They don't go to SmackDown. Fucking stupid. The Hurt Business told Adam Pearce that it would take out the Retribution situation for a price. That makes sense. Asuka Mickey James just was set up for Zelina Vega confronted Angel Garza flirting with Lana. Is Angel Garza's gimmick now that he's just a male whore?
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with being a whore reinforcement, first of all. That's a mean thing to say.
He's flirting. He's flirting with everyone.
Yeah, been his thing for ages. He like kiss the hands of like old grannies or whatever in the audience.
He literally proposed to his girlfriend on fucking NXT, like.
Yeah, good on him.
But yeah, okay. Vega confronted Asuka, and she was done wasting her career on ingrates and wanted gold. She slapped Asuka. I can't see her winning. I can see her giving up a good fight. Bobby Lashley took on Eric because Ivar is going to be out for a long time. Ivar has a serious neck injury.
Yeah.
They threw up the X last week. It's really sad. Eric tapped out to the Hurt Lock. Just hope Ivar gets better soon. And Kieran, since you've seen Raw and I've seen it too, but I want to let you take over for the steel cage match. What did you think of Seth Rollins versus Dominique?
Great match, really great match. I really hope Dominic is able to keep this up like for a whole run, and it's not just that he has really, really great chemistry with Seth Rollins. Murphy, this match, he's kind of trying to redeem himself, brings out like a kendo stick or whatever. But Dominic steals this and uses it to attack Rollins. I don't know. It's just really, really well done. Really, I don't know. Like Dominic's, I guess, faction of Mysterio is kind of becoming stronger, while Rollins' alliance with Murphy is like collapsing. It's like a really nice way to tell a simple and maybe overdone story or whatever, like a failing alliance. Which WWE have a lot of like fighting in their alliances right now.
They're breaking everyone up. Raw is Civil War. I liked everything about this except for the fact they're teasing a storyline where Buddy Murphy gets in a romantic relationship with a 19-year-old.
I mean, he's not that old, is he?
I no, but it's just like the mystery. Like, did you see this after the match? They kind of like she helped Buddy Murphy up. Angie no, it's not Angie. Who is it? What's her name? What's Rey Mysterio's daughter's name?
Okay.
Oh, can't remember the name, but she kind of flirted with Buddy Murphy. It would be a bit like, I'm not saying it's completely like bad, but it would. Like,
I think you do symbolic of like Murphy being pulled like the light side, rather than they're going to have an in-depth storyline about him getting the 19. You know.
Let's hope. Let's hope you're right. Let's hope to God you're right.
Faith in a company that wanted an incest storyline between like Shane and Stephanie, you know?
Yeah. I just saw an interview that Stephanie did back in the day talking about that. It's very awkward. So awkward.
So weird angle to fucking pitch.
Yeah. But yeah, we move on to the Braun Strowman just destroying Raw Underground, which was a surprise. I don't know why he was there, but he just laid out everybody. And then we're getting Strowman versus Dabba-Kato next week. I mean, cool. Raw Underground.
So
yeah. What do you think of Raw Underground? Can it go to hell? Can it go underground? Will it go underground?
Eventually, yes. I think the second crowds come back, it's gone like the millisecond. But for right now, keep it. I guess it's different. It is like in a 3-hour show. We probably do maybe put it in the middle of the show rather than like the third hour, because I think you do need a breathing space at some point in the show. Because fuck, does it feel like 3 hours sometimes? You know.
Yeah.
But it's very hit and miss. It's very dodgy.
Yeah, it's not my cup of tea. It's not a lot of people's cup of tea. What is my cup of tea is Alice versus Kevin Owens. I love it.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be amazing. They had their match here, but it's not like their blow off match. Their blow off match is gonna be amazing. Is what we mean. Aleister Black ambushed Kevin Owens before the bell. He continued an assault. KO just didn't get any offense in. Owens was ready for the stunner, and then the lights went out and back on, and Owens won. It distracted Aleister Black, which is weird. The heel gets distracted by the heel's shenanigans. They had limited time. I really hope their blow-off match is amazing. It could be insane. I love both of these. They're so good. So let's hope. We'll not say any more, but let's hope. Riot Squad, Natalya and Lana, no interest whatsoever.
I like Lana. I'm not overly fan of Riot Squad, but like, you know.
No, Baszler choked out Lana, and then Jax put Lana through the table with a vicious Simone drop. And when Lana was in the air, all I had in my head was like images that preceded unfortunate events. I was like, please don't kill her. Nia, please don't kill her. The poor woman. But no, she seemed like she's not dead. Breaking news, she's not dead after Nia Jax put her through a table. Miracles do happen, kids. But yeah, in the main event, Keith Lee and Drew, what do you think of this?
Yeah, it's a really, really good match. Because of course it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We saw this. This is a rematch, wasn't
it? No, you're thinking of Keith Lee and Randy Orton.
I am. I'm not overly fond of the no contest thing. Never like that. It's a bit contrived. That happens a bit often.
It's cop out.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They build these big fresh matches between two people where, you know, it's like who could possibly win, and then they don't commit to having either of them win. You know?
Yep. I really enjoyed this. I watched highlights. I didn't watch the full thing, but from what I saw, it was really good. Keith Lee wearing a singlet, it's better than putting top on, because at least it's there's the fireworks. It's fireworks season, people. Knacker's gonna knacker. But yeah, he at least he's showing his gut now, which was the main concern. The reason he's so good, let me repeat it from last week. The reason he's so good is you look at that and you show someone who hasn't watched wrestling. It's like, how can a fridge do a backflip? Can your fridge do a backflip? I didn't think so. Yeah. Well, yeah, Retribution came in. What happened afterwards was very interesting. I don't know if you can hear that. Can you hear that? That was like loud bangs in the background.
Yeah, I assume that was just you bang.
No. But yeah, so Retribution came out and McIntyre and Lee were getting attacked. So Mia Yim, who has had a public on-screen relationship with Keith Lee, was now attacking Keith Lee. Love it. You love it. You love to see you so love to see it. And you know what's even worse? Who was Keith Lee's best friend like 2 weeks ago, Kieran? Who did Keith Lee save from the grass with Karrion Kross 2 weeks ago?
John Cena.
Dominic Dijakovic. It's fucking. I know we should never expect them to do the simple things right, but at least do like a tease maybe of Keith Lee not being attacked. Just Keith Lee just walking away, maybe being unscathed. You think we're stupid, don't you, Vince? Don't you? You ripped up the script like an hour before the fucking show. No wonder.
I've been doing that like a year now. I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah, his poor shredder. Yeah. His poor shredder. All right. The Hurt Business came to the ring, which is interesting. They work for money. They're not aligning themselves with McIntyre and Lee. They just got paid. And then McIntyre and Lee hit stereo torpe con hilos, and that was really good. It would be nice if Retribution did more than like cut cryptic promos, turn off the lights, and beat people up.
Yeah.
Something else, just something different.
Getting there, I guess, but it's just taking so fucking long.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Like, remember the hacker, Kieran? It'd be interesting to see if like the way they could say that is make it seem like the hacker is part of Retribution. That would make sense. Maybe if Mustafa Ali joins, because he was the hacker. The voice recognition thing has proved that he and Chad Gable were the hackers. If they joined, they could be like their tag team. I wouldn't complain about that. But yeah, we move on. We move on. We talked a bit about what happened on NXT. It was an okay show. It wasn't great, but I want to talk about SmackDown, Kieran. SmackDown is good. I don't know why. Next Sunday is Clash of Champions. Jesus Christ.
The Alexa storyline, I'm fully fucking into that. Yeah. And her fucking, what's it called? The Bray Wyatt move. Sister Abigail is so nice.
Yeah, can we just get a few things out of the way first? Miz and Morrison, I know this stuff is crap. I don't want to talk about it. God awful. Sure. Cesaro, Grand Metalik, it is what it is. It's just a thing. A Moment of Bliss. What did you think, Kieran? As you were saying it before I rudely interrupted you.
It's just really interesting and captivating, and you want to know where it's gonna go next. I like the way her hair is getting a bit more like Bray Wyatt-y every week.
Less conditioner every week.
Yeah. But
hashtag Yas Queen.
What?
Yas Queen.
You're really topical, aren't you, Ray? You know what's going on.
I'm down with the kids.
You're fucking 18, man.
Waff and all that.
Stop. You're worse than Shapiro. There, I said it.
Dangly thing in the back of your throat. Hashtag. But yeah. What did you... Back on track, Kieran. Alexa Bliss looking hella Harley Quinn.
Yeah, well, she's always looking like Harley Quinn. It's like half her fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the end game for this? Do you think?
I see what you did there. Oh no, they're two completely different universes. Damn it! I think they are. Yes, they are. They definitely are. I am educated. But yeah. What do I think of this? What do I think?
So what do you think? Where's this gonna go?
I'm not the best person to ask, to be honest.
I haven't watched this storyline as intensely because I usually fall asleep after the first hour of SmackDown and then I watch the highlights. Where do you think this is going? Alexa has to win the belt. Like, she has to win the belt.
Is she? Who's current champion? No, because Sasha's.
Bailey. Yeah, I know. What's she gonna do?
Fiend is currently a face. If Alexa's going to associate with the Fiend, she can't really be a heel, right?
Yeah. I really don't know. Where do you think this is going? It's actually a tough one.
They're trying to pick up Alexa and Nikki Cross. I think this could just be a massive gimmick change for Alexa, where she goes full supernatural Sister Abigail, and like a total new side of things, which would be extra weird considering how she still has her Alexa Bliss podcast going on at the same.
Yeah.
She does go supernatural. But
yeah, maybe she could like start bringing that podcast into her character, which would be a really cool podcast to listen to. I don't think there's many podcasts of people in kayfabe. I would be confident in saying. I'd be very confident in saying that. What?
Is it in kayfabe? Oh, right.
No, as in if she just acted crazy on the podcast instead.
Yeah. That would be interesting. Like an hour a week though of her in character. That would like burn someone out quick. Be tiring to listen to.
Yeah, maybe she'd like. Oh, actually, yeah. Here, she's like doing the podcast like once every podcast, like for like 10 seconds. She kind of like has like a mental like. I don't want to be insensitive. She just has like her switch like flicks off and she just like turns into the character, like seems mentally ill, and you're like, oh, what the fuck is that? And then like they play it on SmackDown. If they want to take everybody's podcasts off them, then just use them on SmackDown. Then use them in a storyline. So yeah, that's where that was probably our most interesting discussion point so far. What they're gonna do in Alexa Bliss. Other than that, the next thing that happened was Sasha Banks in a net. Yeah, she's back too early. They could have dragged this out. They could have really dragged this out.
I mean, they're all at the storyline massively because it's been like a year or some shit. But like, yeah, way too early to bring it back.
Yeah, it was a great story. It was a great segment.
Oh yeah.
Bailey attacked her from
Bailey's actually really good, like as the heel.
Yeah, full Karen. And now my favorite bit of SmackDown: AJ Styles and Sami Zayn. Before we start, Kieran, did you see what Sami Zayn did this week?
Nothing that I would can say off the top of my head. Why?
He went on Blind Boys podcast. Blind Boys being the member of the Rubber Bandits, which is really interesting. Talking about equality in the workplace and people getting fired. Because Blind Boy, believe it or not, you watch the Rubber Bandits and you think, oh, these lads are probably just like degenerates, for want of a better word. But Blind Boy is very, very intelligent. I don't know exactly what his degree is, but I think it might be psychology, or maybe it's something like along the lines. But he is a very intelligent man, and I haven't listened to it yet, but that'd be a recommendation. Sami Zayn and the Rubber Bandits. Who would have thought? 2020, like if that was on your 2020 bingo card, fair play.
And have you listened to it? Is it a good podcast?
I haven't listened to it, but I'd say like Sami Zayn and Blind Boy from the Rubber Bandits, you can't really go wrong. I'm pretty sure the topic of conversation was, I'm pretty sure Blind Boy tweeted something about the firings in WWE, and then Sami Zayn retweeted it, and they went on. I'd recommend it. But what he did in SmackDown.
After this podcast, I'm gonna pour myself a bath. I'm going to get my big tub of Magnum ice cream, and I'm going to put on that podcast.
That sounds like a very nice evening. I'm going to go watch the G1. But yeah. What did you think of this segment? Because I loved it.
Yeah, no, it's the same as the last few weeks where they're doing this, where it is like four people that shouldn't work this damn well together because they just seem randomly thrown together. But they've great chemistry somehow, you know.
And they set up a ladder match.
So Jeff Hardy is going back into a ladder match against AJ and Sami Zayn. Whether this is a bit too early to be like a ladder match, maybe they're going to blow off into a one-on-one feud, or maybe they're going to continue this feud somehow. But those three in a ladder match, Kieran, if you take away being really awkward about, oh, this is too early in the storyline, hook it to my veins, please. That is going to be insane. That'll probably match of the night for me. I think that's going to be like, unless Drew and Randy pull something out their arses, that has to be match of the night.
Yeah.
Like I can't see how three people as good as Sammy, Jeff, and AJ with a ladders involved cannot pull off an insane match.
I hope they do. None of them, except maybe Hardy, are really known for their ladder stunts. But Hardy being in that, like, him being there is going to create a lot of like spots or whatever, or a lot more willingness to do crazy things purely to one up the guy. You know?
Yep. Kieran, my laptop has just flashed up as low battery, so you talk about Roman Reigns while I go get the laptop charger.
Roman Reigns.
The Tribal Chief. What do you think of the nickname? Thoughts, feelings, and/or emotions?
I mean, yeah, I guess it's all right. I don't know. Does he need a fucking nickname? Does everyone need a fucking nickname in WWE? This guy, he's already a fucking big dog. Just leave it. I don't know. WWE's stupid fucking obsession with nicknames pisses me off sometimes. I cannot stand it. Like the artist Shinsuke Nakamura, the rock star Shinsuke, fuck off. Who gives a shit? He's the big dog. Leave it. It's done. Wreck people and leave or whatever. But the match is pretty good. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Sheamus and King Corbin, was it? No, was that last week? No, that was this week. Yeah.
I'm back.
He's back.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Sheamus and King Corbin.
Sorry, what?
It was a decent enough match. Street fight. It was okay. I don't know. It wasn't the highlight of the show. Maybe the weakest thing Roman's done since coming back.
It wasn't a Samoan street. It wasn't a street fight. It was a Samoan street fight, and I really, really was hoping for a haka. That's the only thing that would have made it a Samoan street fight if they did that. If they did. No, Samoas do the haka as well. Yeah. Well, Tonga have a haka. Samoa have a haka. Fiji have a haka. New Zealand have a haka. So yeah. There's lots of hakas. But yeah, this was good. But I thought a haka because there's a Samoa Joe entrance in TNA in 2005 where he does like a tribal dance, and it's really cool. Go check that out on YouTube. It's really good. It's very good. But yeah, this was like give Baron Corbin all the slack he wants, but he's really good in the ring.
I think he's really good in the ring, but he's not great. The moves he has are effective, clean, and he does them well, and they're always taken well by whoever he's given them to. But he's never risen above just being very good, I think.
Yeah, because his just beat like his really cheap go away kiss ass heat just doesn't allow itself to be really presentable, which is sad. But like, if you want to be a company man, you're gonna make money for life, but you're not gonna make many fans. Like, I don't think he personally cares. Like, he doesn't really care at all. He doesn't seem like I hate to presume things, but he doesn't seem like he'd be the most welcoming guy. He gives off that Brock Lesnar vibe of someone who
he's a lone wolf, you know.
Yeah, bring back the lone wolf gimmick. #Dits pitch. Dits really wants a lone wolf gimmick back, and he kind of when he told us that, it kind of like I kind of agreed. I kind of like got on board with it. So you never know. It was a good. SmackDown and Raw have been like really good. Like I hate to piss on the anti-main roster parade, but they've been entertaining to say the least. Not amazing, but they've been really good.
I think there was like 2 weeks there where SmackDown was like amazing, like really, really good, and now it's just like being very good, and Raw is usually matching that level of just being very good, which is for WWE, it's pretty fucking impressive, you know.
Of course it is, yeah. I'm happy. Like you live in a world where like people in the wrestling world where like you like I'd say wrestlers are like, oh, I'd say they really hope it's terrible this week, but like no, we want it to be good. It's just when it's terrible, it's actually usually quite funny. Sadly, it is what it is. But yeah, like main event was really really good. I want to just talk a little bit about the G1. I've rambled on way too much to this podcast, but G1 highlights for me. Ospreay's back. No, I should have said highlights. I will get onto in a minute. But the elephant in the room is that Ospreay is in the G1. A lot of people have called for New Japan to fire him. They never will, and I'm sorry, they just won't. He's got after this match was probably his worst, which is going to be his worst match, even though it was really good against the Tokyo Pimp Yujiro Takahashi. He won, and from now on, he's going to have match of the year contender after match of the year contender. So enjoy that. October 7th, he's facing Minoru Suzuki, so he might die. What do you think, Kieran? I don't know. You probably don't follow that much, but what do you think about Ospreay? Like, what would you do if you were New Japan and how do you balance? Is this a separate the artist from the person kind of Michael Jackson argument here that we're entering into? Is it a very very thin line that we're like entering into with this kind of situation?
I mean, like Michael Jackson's. Okay, if you really want to use the Michael Jackson thing, Michael Jackson's crimes, and personally, I would never defend Michael Jackson. They were outside the realm of music. He didn't fiddle fucking kids on like stage. Well, that I fucking know. Anyway, I don't know all the horrible things he's done. Will Ospreay's crimes, his or whatever, are very much within the wrestling world to other wrestlers. I think that would be the difference between them. I personally think, I'd say I don't think it's going to happen purely because he is a fucking draw. Should be blacklisted from most UK promotions, most US promotions.
He's champion of one of the biggest in UK promotions, sadly, that are running shows right now.
It's because, there's no shows going on right now. Who knows what like
Rev Pro running shows, sadly.
He's champion of an OTT thing. He hasn't been stripped of anything yet.
Yeah, he's going to go to Japan with Will. I like Japanese.
Get rid of him. Don't need him. We don't.
Yeah, you see his Instagram, Will Ospreay, and all the Japanese people are like, oh, he's amazing. Even the women are like, oh, he's amazing. Can't we see Will? I love Will. Daddy Will. Like literally, he literally fucking.
6 months.
Still, listen, it was me 6 months ago, Kieran. It was me 6 months ago, but like people can say a few years ago they were big fans of. Again, we just use Michael Jackson, but it's become public knowledge that he's a cunt. We had the wool pulled over our eyes the whole time. It's like he's gonna have amazing matches, but there is an elephant in the room and it needs to be addressed. But it won't because everybody loves him in Japan and nobody really knows what happened. In other G1 news, there were some great matches. Shingo against Jay White was really good. Shingo Takagi is amazing. He's like a fridge, like a fridge with a head. Great match between Goto and Kent. No, that was the B block. There's the first voice break of the evening. It took a while. It wasn't Goto and Kenta. Who was it? It was Jeff Cobb fought Taichi, which was a really good match. Jeff Cobb's got a grey beard now, which is really interesting. Okay, yeah, match of the year contender Ishii and Suzuki. It was literally it was like your dad fighting some guy at the bar and just beating the shit. Literally, two men who are quite old beating the living piss out of each other. Like, seriously, ended with a gotch pile driver. It was Suzuki won. Like, Jesus Christ, he's so good. And Ishii is like he's like a brick wall. When Suzuki put him down for the 3 count, like he's like, okay, if I'm trying to explain Ishii to Kieran, he's like Lesnar, Kieran, where it's like, like when he goes down, you realize how big a moment it is. When he goes down and stays down, you realize how huge a moment is, and it gets that reaction. It's so good. It's
And not a lot of wrestlers have that spot where it's like an unexpected moment. You can see there's a lot of wrestlers are not invincible, but there are some wrestlers that have that level of invincibility to them that when they get a big move hit on them, it's an absolute amazing moment. And I think what WWE fans have with Lesnar and New Japan has with Ishii. He's never been near the belt. He should have been. It's a crime that he's never been champion, but he had an amazing match. And then I'd thoroughly recommend you go check it out. And then in the main event, we had Kota a rematch of one of the matches from Wrestle Kingdom 14. We had Kota Ibushi versus Kazuchika Okada, and this was a great match for what it was. It wasn't as good as their absolute classic at Wrestle Kingdom, but Ibushi beat Okada, which was really cool. I loved it. Ibushi then compared himself to God afterwards. For those who don't know, and Kieran doesn't know, Ibushi is an incredibly talented wrestler, but he's an incredibly dense human being. He needs people. He needs people to follow him around, because he can't get to places. He has no sense of direction, or navigation or anything like that. He compared himself to God, as I said. He was in a promotion called DDT where he was like firing fireworks out of cannons at people. I think there was a story of. Have you ever heard the story of Ibushi in the Cruiserweight Classic, Kieran?
No, go on.
It's amazing. So he had an amazing. I don't know if you remember, but the semi-finals of the Cruiserweight Classic were TJP versus Zack Sabre Jr. and Kota Ibushi versus Grand Metalik, and the two worst wrestlers won. Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. are two of the best wrestlers in the world, and they were the losing semi-finalists. But after having a great match, Ibushi ran backstage and high-fived Vince McMahon because he had no idea who Vince was. He just went backstage and just went for a high five.
Huh.
It's
weird, like wrestling figure not to know.
Yeah, he's a national treasure in Japan, but he's an amazing wrestler. He says like, I always want to get hurt because it takes the pain away. It's really weird. Or he's like, I always want to do the opposite of what people tell me. He's a crazy motherfucker. I'm watching B Block tonight. I'll give reports on the best matches. I'll probably do my G1 top 5. It's probably how to do it because there's like shows going on every day. It's great to see Gabriel Kidd is opening every show with the young lions. It's great to see. As fans of WCW, and you'll know Gabriel Kidd, and it's great to see him. He's absolutely ripped to the gills, ripped to shreds, and he's having his little mini tournament with 3 young lions to open it because that's how they're doing the G1 this year, COVID friendly. But yeah, I've talked way too much. Kieran, have you got anything else you want to talk about? I apologize.
No, I'd say that's about it. Is it?
I think so. Yeah, it's 8:05. I'm on Zoom in like 25 minutes, and Kieran wants to go have a bath. And
I'm going to bed.
Yeah, Kieran wants to go have a bath. I start orientation tomorrow. I don't exactly know how deep my orientation is tomorrow. I'm working in the evening as well, so it's going to be a long day.
Next week, I think.
Yeah, as we said, we can finally nail down a schedule after the 5th of October is when term starts in DCU, and I'm pretty sure it's a lot of colleges. Like, this is orientation, but term officially starts on the 5th of October. I could be doing college radio, which is pretty cool. I looked at my modules, and a lot of it is like college radio and editing and stuff like that. So that might lead into better podcasts. I don't know. We're still shit, so the only way is up from here.
It's only been what, a year and a half?
Yeah, actually, not. Like, listen, I say that as a joke, but I think, Kieran, we're doing pretty good. I think from where we were like a year ago and recording on, I think people already noticed, but we used to record the podcast on a stack of books, like not even an organized stack. There'd be like a Bible we got in school, a pocket Bible at the bottom, and then like Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix on top. Like, it was severely unstable.
It was classy. That's what it was.
It was hilarious. But like, I think we're with Dits, who we're grateful for, and we seem to have people who enjoy the podcast and have bought merch. Kieran, I need to send you €1.
You get on.
Yeah, we earned €2. Go buy them before we go into plugs. Kieran, have you got any recommendations other than Blind Boy and Sami Zayn?
I've been playing the Sly Cooper games. I started the first one. They got PlayStation Now. Play them. They're pretty fun. They're very nice.
And then Bill and Ted, obviously.
Oh fuck yeah! I love them.
Kieran, where can I find Bill and Ted like the first two? Because I really want to watch the new one, but I want to be clued in.
Well, if you want to pay money and rent it.
Okay. I will do that, Kieran. I will go pay money and rent it. Yeah. But yeah. Go watch the Two Johnnies show. They went to America and did some really cool shit. They're really funny. Go listen to their podcast. And one of my favorite podcasts in the world got signed to Spotify this week, and I'm really happy. Jack Mate's Happy Hour. Jack Mate's a really, really good YouTuber, really underrated, really funny, and his podcast got signed by Spotify. Like, he got Joe Rogan, which is really cool. Like, it's great to see people who have worked hard and probably get demonetized to shit on YouTube just because they speak their mind, getting what they deserve. And he has a great, like, the best one is with Ricky Gervais. He's a great podcast with Ricky Gervais on there. He's a really interesting podcast. I don't know if you know the guy, Kieran, but you know when like new movies come out, and like Sky One does that thing where like they preview the movie or like they interview the actors on Sky One. It's kind of like they do like a history of like the Harry Potters, or like they interview people ahead of a new movie. I don't know if you've seen that show before. What?
Yeah, I know what you mean. I've seen it.
Yeah. They interviewed the guy from that. And it's quite interesting. He was also like the host. I think his name is Zane. Something Zane. And like, what?
Sami Zayn?
Sami Zayn, yeah. Zayn Malik. But yeah, no, they interview him, and it's kind of like he was a game show host in America. He was a game show host in the UK, and then he went to America, and America literally have no idea what the British or the Irish sense of humor is. But yeah, and the final thing we will end on, Kieran, is since we didn't talk about NXT in full, I don't know if you watched NXT, Kieran. Did you?
In pieces.
Yeah. The first thing that came out of their mouth on NXT was British champion Finn Balor.
Oh,
you fucking pricks! You're so fucking
ruin the fucking podcast like that. Bro.
Yeah, I know. I had to end. I completely forgot. I wanted to start on that, so the only way it was up. But fucking hell! First, Katie, the Brits are bad enough. You take Katie.
Said that.
The Brits are bad enough. You take Katie Taylor. You take the Irish guy in the Tour de France who did really well today and won the green jersey. You take everybody. You make Andy Murray British when he's Scottish, and when he loses, he's British. He's Scottish. And then, but you're not half as bad as the Americans. His finisher move is called 1916. Like, look.
Well, they don't know what that means.
I know. I've been told it.
England, like, well, I don't know what year the US is separated from America, or what their risings are, to be fair.
Yeah, well, Wade Barrett's on commentary. He should know his Irish history. His finisher move isn't called the War of the Roses, Wade. Prick. But yeah, that really annoyed me. But yeah, go listen to those podcasts. Subscribe to Project Dits. He got a Twitch streaming setup, and it's amazing. So he's gonna be streaming a lot of games now. Yeah. Maybe Kieran, you might go on there sometime. He was telling me about us joining him, so going on Twitch would be pretty cool.
Tis true.
Tis true. Until WWE like sign us up and tell us to not use it anymore, and then we're gonna have to go by our real names. Kieran Brennan isn't his real name, and Rian Knockler's not my real name. But yeah, go listen to the Alleged Wrestling Podcast. Like, get live. It's the funniest thing ever. Being in that chat is amazing. Like, just being in the show beforehand, listening to Enzo Amore's raps being played and just having fun. It's a really good podcast, and they've changed from Mixer to Discord, and it's fantastic. It's so good. Yeah. And I want to give a new plug this week before we go. I'm sorry for rambling, but if you have any tech problems or you're interested in tech, one of my good friends who I've met through the wrestling as well, Rory Monaghan, has a
I met him through the Alleged Wrestling podcast. He has an amazing technology podcast called 5-Bit Podcast. It's just really good about like different tech, big tech problems or different new technology coming out. You'll probably have a bit on about the PS4 and stuff like that. But he's a really, really smart, very smart individual who has a lot to give and like the insight of. I'm probably gonna go ask him for a recommendation on a college laptop. So yeah, it's just really interesting. Go listen to it. I always want to help our friends as much as we can, even though they probably need to help us more than we need to help them. But it's good to be nice people, and all these podcasts are actually fantastic. It's amazing how this podcast has meant that we can be in a community that is just so fucking good. Can't really say enough about it. But I think it's time to wrap it up. I've been rambling way too long. Let's take it home, Kieran.
Yes, I've been your host, Kieran Brennan. With me, as always, my co-host.
I've been your Irish host of this wrestling podcast. The manager name's forgot, Rian.
And as we say at the end of every episode of the Horror, my God, Finn Balor is Irish.
Yes, he's fucking Irish. 1916. Look it up, please. Please, Triple H. I know Sean will never look it up, but I believe in you, Hunter. Just use Google.